Most people think landscape lighting means hiring an electrician, spending thousands of dollars, and tearing up their yard. But what if I told you you could install a professional looking landscape lighting system yourself with zero electrical experience? Here's the truth. The only part you need a licensed electrician for is installing a safe, code compliant receptacle outlet right where you want your transformer. After that, everything else is low voltage, safe, simple, and completely do it yourself friendly. In this video, I'm going to show you exactly how to do it yourself, from choosing the right materials to sizing your transformer the right way to wiring everything together so it actually works the first time. Let's get into it. Before you head to the store to pick out your lights, you need to decide where you want the lights to go because you need to know how much wire length to purchase. You can figure that out by using a tape measure to measure the distance, or you can step it out and get a close estimate. The average person's step equals 3 feet, so that will at least get you close to the length of wire that you'll need. I also want to let you know that you can have different zones if you want to install lights in different locations around your house that aren't necessarily connected or close together. Once you get to the store, you're going to need to buy 1. A transformer, or multiple transformers if you're installing lights in different locations, like in your front yard and your backyard. 2. Whichever lights you want to install around your house. And 3. Wire. You need to do a calculation to know which gauge of wire to buy. That is based on the total wattage of your lights and the length of cable you need. I'll explain that more in a minute. So pick out all your lights first. There are a ton of different styles of lights you'll find at the store. Path lights, spotlights, floodlights, pond lights, wall wash lights, rock lights, deck lights, bollards, etc. You'll also see on the packaging the color type and the lumens, which is the light output. Once you have all your lights picked out, then you can pick out a transformer. You will notice that there are different transformer sizes, such as 60 watt, 120 watt, 200 watt, 300 watt. The size of the transformer you need to buy is based on the number of lights you're going to connect to the transformer and the wattage of each light. The packaging for the lights will tell you how much wattage each one uses. That is the number you need for the calculation. You can find a landscape lighting project calculator on the box or on a display at the store. But here's how it works. Take the number of lights multiplied by the wattage used for each light. Let's say you have 9 lights that consume 5 watts each and 1 light that consumes 10. So multiply 9 times 5, which is 45, and then add 10 for the other light, which gives you a total of 55 watts. So you could use a 60 watt transformer in that situation. Or you could buy a 120 watt transformer to allow for future expansion. Now, as I mentioned before, you'll also need to do a calculation for the cable you need to buy. Take the total light wattage, which was 55 watts in our last example, and multiply it by the total length of cable that you need. Let's say you're going to run those lights over a total distance of 100 feet. You will take 55 watts times 100, and that's 5,500, which you'll need to purchase 14 gauge cable, as you can see in the chart on the transformer box. Okay, so we've been talking about how to do this. Now let me show you. So here's your electrical transformer for your low voltage. Here's your 120 volt part that you're going to plug into the outlet. Here's the trunk line that goes out to the actual light fixtures. How you're going to attach your wire to your light fixtures is these 2 screws right in the bottom. So I've already got this one connected, but this is what it looks like. You're going to strip out 2 wires and you're just going to set one here and one there. It doesn't matter if it's this way, it doesn't matter if it's that way. That's all you got to do is connect these like so. Pretty straightforward. How you hang the transformer, they're all pretty similar. That's going to have a little slot here just to put onto a screw. So put in the screw, line up the slot, transformer's hung. It doesn't get any tougher than that. Here's your cord, plug it into your outlet. This is an older home, so it's got an older cover because it's got a canopy on top of it. This works perfectly fine. If you have a newer home, you're going to have a bubble cover like this one. You're going to take out your little, whether it's in the side or in the bottom, the little plastic cover plate that normally keeps this closed. Going to come up through here, plug it in, and close the door just like that. So depending on which style you've got, that one you can plug it in, this one you can put it in and close the door. All right, now let's connect some light fixtures. Okay, let's go on ahead and make our connections of our light fixture that I've got here for a pathway light that I want to use all the way down there. We're going to install one of them here because once you've done one, all the rest are rinse and repeat. So we're going to get this one installed here. I've prepped this a little bit. I've already got my trunk line. I refer to this as a trunk line because it's like a tree. You got the main trunk, and then here's all the little branches that are going to connect to it. So I got the trunk line all the way to the end, and when I got down to the end, I left an extra 18 inches or 2 feet down at the end. And the reason I did that is, what if I ever want to add and continue on at a later date? Well, they make a cable splice connector, and I'll leave it in the link down below. And you can put this right into the wire and then continue on with this splice. All right, let's get started. So in this particular case, from here to here, I've already dug this down 6 inches, which is what the recommendation is from the manufacturer for depth. Now in this particular case, as you can see here, I've already trimmed a little bit of grass. I've already dug this a little bit here. And then down there, I haven't done anything, so you can see the transition, because I wanted to take a minute to explain. Imagine if you put a grass cutter through here to trim the edge of your sidewalk. Obviously, you're not going to want to get into this and damage it, which is the reason why you want to be down 6 inches or greater if you got a really big cutting disc in this application. Now, imagine if you're in your garden, you're not going to have this scenario. You can just go on ahead and dig your 6 inches and you're good to go. In this particular scenario, obviously, I want it down a full 6 inches so I don't damage it. So, how did I do that? Well, for here in this area, because we're dealing with grass, I didn't want to make, get a shovel out and take out all the grass, obviously. So it's very common for me to use my electrician framing hammer with the straight claws and actually come in here and just dig it out like so. And it actually works pretty quick. 6 inches doesn't take a whole lot to dig out with a framing hammer with straight claws. Now, to be clear, I'm talking about like this. Not like this. You are not gonna, this is great for pictures in the house, but not so much for in the yard. So I don't think we'll be using this. So we're gonna get rid of that one. And then, God forbid, if you got grandpa's gigantic, huge whoop butt take names framing hammer, I mean, by all means, that'll work. The whole point is you want to have some straight claws back here to dig in the dirt. So since I'm an electrician, that's what I do every day. That's why mine's all nice and shiny here in the back, is because I do this quite a little bit. So I've done that through here, and I didn't damage a whole bunch of grass. It looks pretty good. This is a good idea. Again, if you're in your garden, you can do whatever you want. I do have a bonus for you. If you like tools and you want to be Tim the Tool Man, whoop butt, and take names, this is pretty neat. So what this was designed for was to put in your drill so that you can install these really cute little marigolds. All you do is come up here, and you're going to make 6 inches pretty doggone quick. It was originally designed so you could go down a few inches, plop your marigold in, cover a little bit of dirt, and move on. That's what it's for. But guess what? It works out pretty well for disturbing the dirt. Now I'm 6 inches deep, about that fast. So I will caution you, if you're going to use one of these, you want to keep it in high gear, not low gear. And you've got an adjustable clutch on here, because sometimes, depending on the dirt that you're working with, that thing's going to grip, and when it does, it's going to twist your arm out like this, and it's not going to feel so good. Ask me how I know that. So my recommendation is, when you're doing this in the beginning, try to set your clutch down a little bit, keep it in high gear until you know what kind of dirt you're working with. But this actually works out pretty well. If you don't have a really big distance and you're not worried about goofing up the yard, you're working in the garden or around the edge of the house where you don't have anything that's really pretty, you can make a pretty good hole pretty fast and set all your wire in it. Now let's make the connection to the light. So in this particular application, since there's obviously all those different types of lights that we discussed, this is a pathway light. This is meant so you can step on it. In this particular application, I did cheat ahead of time and actually press it in so I didn't look silly on camera trying to squeeze that in there. And then you're going to take your trunk wire, drop it in, and then you have these itty bitty little connections. And by the way, while I'm thinking about it, Harbor Freight, $4.95 sure saves knees when you're doing this kind of work. Just an idea. All you got to do is put the clamp on one side, the opposing clamp on the other side, and there's little pinchers inside of this thing that's going to just pinch into the side of the cable, and then it's just going to barely make contact with your 12 volts and the light will come on. That's all there is to it. All the different types of fixtures that you're going to install are all going to be just like this, and just pinch onto the trunk line all the way down. You don't have to do any wiring whatsoever. You pull it together, it goes click, 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 tightens up, light comes on. Just that simple. All you got to do is make a nice good squeeze here. It's together, lights on. The manufacturer of this particular light suggests taking some electrical tape and putting it over this and rolling it over it, and then dropping it directly in the dirt, cover it back up. It's that simple. So the beauty of doing this kind of thing is it's pretty easy to do. It's 12 volts, so you're not going to get shocked. That's the whole point of putting the transformer in. You go from 120 down to 12, like we talked about a moment ago. So there's no reason you couldn't grab the kids and have fun in your yard and do all kinds of beautiful designs just like this. While I'm thinking about it, about the only thing that could maybe cause you an issue, hypothetically, is occasionally, and I've had this happen to me once, these clamps every once in a while will just fail. Don't ask me why, they just do. You know, they make 100 of these, and every one out of 100, the clamp's not that great. Good news is, they make replacement clamps. So all you would do to put one of these on, follow the directions, but basically all you're going to do is you're going to separate these wires. You would cut them, strip them, and then they got another new clamp here, comes with the wire nuts in the package. Put on another new clamp, together, you're done. Go on ahead and set her inside of here, cover it up. It's just that simple. I hope this video has given you lots of ideas for future landscape lighting projects that you would like to create, now knowing how to do a proper install. This is Thomas with Classic Electric, and this is a wrap.